There comes a moment in your life when something inside you awakens, when you realize you've spent so many years talking to God, but never truly learned how to talk with Him. You spoke out of habit, out of fear, out of pain, out of desperation, but not out of relationship. And as your heart begins to mature, you finally understand that talking to God is one directional, but talking with God is a connection. Talking to God is releasing words, but talking with God is receiving His presence. Talking to God is emptying your mind, but talking with God is filling your spirit. God does not shout over the noise of your life. His voice does not compete with the chaos in your mind. Before God speaks, He stills you. And so talking with Him begins with silence, sacred, intentional silence where your heart becomes calm enough to feel what your ears cannot hear. In that stillness, you begin to sense His peace, His pull, His conviction, His quiet reassurance. When life is loud, God feels distant. When your heart rests, God becomes clear. Talking with God is not a monologue, it is a conversation. Most people rush through prayer, list their needs, spill their fears, drop their burdens, and walk away before God ever has a chance to respond. But God's replies are rarely loud. They come as peace that settles your heart, as a certainty that strengthens your decision, as clarity that comes from nowhere, as conviction that pushes you away from something harmful, as a heaviness lifting when you finally let go. God speaks more through feeling than sound. Honesty opens that connection. You don't need holy words. You just need a truthful heart. God, I'm tired. God, I'm overwhelmed. God, I'm confused. God, I'm hurting. It is that vulnerability that draws Him near. God does not respond to the mask you wear. He responds to the truth you carry. When you stop pretending with Him, your heart becomes a place He can speak into. Peace becomes one of His clearest languages. When something is right, your soul rests. When something is wrong, your spirit tightens. Long before your mind understands, your heart reacts. God removes peace when He wants to warn you. He gives peace when He wants to guide you. Discernment becomes the spiritual compass that helps you recognize His voice without hearing a single word. He also speaks by closing doors. Sometimes you pray for something, want something, expect something, and He blocks it. Not to hurt you, but to protect you. Not to punish you, but to redirect you. Closed doors are divine conversations. God's way of saying, not this way, I have something better. Every delay is direction. Every denial is protection. Every redirection is guidance. Obedience becomes another form of communication. When God nudges you, let that go. Apologize. Walk away. Try again. Stop this. Start now. Every yes you give Him deepens the relationship. Obedience is not control, it is connection. It is how you continue the conversation God starts through conviction. His word is part of this dialogue. Scripture is not just history, it is God speaking back to your questions, fears, and uncertainties. Every verse carries comfort, correction, assurance, and clarity. When you open His word, He opens His mouth. When you meditate on His promises, He speaks into your spirit. Your burdens also speak. The weight you cannot carry alone, the exhaustion you cannot explain, the heaviness that sits in your soul. These are invitations from God. When the load becomes too much, He is calling you to surrender. God says, give that to me. Stop carrying what I never asked you to hold. The moment you release it, strength enters. As you walk with God, you begin to change. Your desires shift. Your habits soften. Your reactions improve. Your heart grows. Your insight deepens. Your spirit matures. God does not just answer prayers. He transforms the one who prayed. He expands your character because He prepares you for blessings that require strength you didn't have before. He speaks through discomfort that pushes you to grow, through desires that come from somewhere deeper than your own mind, through spiritual fatigue that tells you you're out of alignment, through doors that open too easily to be coincidence. He speaks by placing longing inside you, the urge to change, to heal, to move, to detach, to grow, to start fresh. These longings are divine invitations. He speaks through protection you never saw, relationships that ended before they destroyed you, opportunities that never came because they weren't meant for you, delays that saved you from walking into situations you weren't ready for. He speaks through the strength you found during seasons that should have broken you. You thought you survived on your own, but it was His hand holding you together. He speaks through the things you outgrow: people, environments, habits, conversations, desires that no longer satisfy you. Spiritual maturity shows itself in what you no longer tolerate. Outgrowing something is not rejection, it is evolution. God is saying you cannot stay where you were and become who I called you to be. He speaks through discernment. Those instant reactions you can't explain, the sense that something is wrong, the feeling that someone is unsafe. Your mind may not see the danger, but your spirit hears God warning you. Discernment is God's early alarm. He speaks through repeated patterns, lessons that keep returning until you finally understand them. God will repeat what is essential for your destiny. He speaks through breaking points that lead to breakthroughs. Pain becomes his classroom, tears become his language, healing becomes his message. He speaks through your desire for peace, your hunger for purpose, your longing for stillness, your need for renewal. He speaks when he shifts your habits, corrects your heart, softens your spirit. He speaks through victories that made no sense, through blessings you didn't expect, through courage that rose inside you at the exact moment you needed it. He speaks when he removes what is unworthy of your future. He speaks when he pushes you to forgive, so bitterness doesn't block your breakthrough. He speaks when he pulls you away from chaos and draws you into solitude because he wants to speak in a deeper way. He speaks through delays that develop you, through endings that redirect you, through desires that align you with him, through sudden clarity that lights your path. He speaks when you are ready to change, ready to grow, ready to rise, ready to surrender, ready to walk in purpose. This is how talking with God becomes a way of living, seeing his fingerprints, hearing his whispers, feeling his peace, recognizing his warnings, sensing his presence, trusting his timing, obeying his nudges, and aligning your heart with his voice. Talking with God is not something you do. It is something you become.